and streams. Interested in becoming a member? Their membership plans feature affordable options for couples, families, and individuals. Book your tee time today. 256-841-4551. Cherokee Ridge. Championship quality, affordable prices.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Well, welcome. We're here today to celebrate a tough team, a storied football program. This year's Commander-in-Chief Trophy winners, the Army Black Knights. We're also joined by Army football's biggest fans, Bill and Steve of the radio show Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. Well, thanks for making a trip from Alabama.
Welcome, Army sports fans, from sea to shining sea. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and the sound of my voice should let you know that it's time for Army Black Knight football. And I'm joined in studio tonight by Barrett the Dirt Pig Crawford. Barrett, how you doing?
Hello. Glad to be here. Oh, it's not on.
Oh.
Press 2.
2 is on.
Can you hear it now?
Okay, folks, got to go ahead.
I think it's there now. Is there? No? Try 3.
Folks, we have a little technical difficulty going on here, so I will go ahead and continue with the show as Bailey works this thing out. But tonight, we are joined with Barrett, the Dirt Pig Crawford, myself, and we're going to talk about Army Black Knight football. And we are now a undefeated team, 7-0, and we are bowl eligible. There's lots of good things going on in the Army land. Tonight we have a great show for you. We have, I don't really know how to say this guy's name, Colton Schrafer, who is the data person for Army for Coach Monken. He does his data analytics, and later on we're going to have Rick Roper, who is a star in the Army football land. He was quarterback back in the 80s, and he did really, or in the 90s, excuse me. And we're going to get a little tip from him on what it's like to play Army football. Should we take a break while you get this straightened out?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we're going to take a break, folks. We have a little technical problem. We'll be right back with you. Sorry about that. Back soon. This is Crawdad.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation. But did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888 8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. If you're in the market for a new ride, now is the time to make your move. We've got over 700 new Fords to choose from, and with over 2,700 Google reviews, our customers have spoken, giving us a pretty impressive 4.4 out of 5 stars. Believe me, we work hard every day to earn those 5 stars. Just tell us what you need. This month only, we're offering big savings on your favorite Ford models. You can save up to $10,000 off MSRP on a 2024 F-150 Super Crew pickup. Or take $9,500 off MSRP on a 2024 Edge all-wheel drive. And if you're looking for something even bigger, take a spin in our 2024 family-size Expedition, available for $11,000 off MSRP. Deals end October 31st, and with always, it's with your good credit. Stop by Woody Anderson Ford today or visit us online at woodyandersonford.com. With deals this good, you don't want to wait. I'm Bobby White, and we hope to see you soon.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Isolated showers will be a possibility heading into this Wednesday night. Majority of us going to continue to be staying dry, though. Expect to sit under a partly to mostly cloudy sky. Low temperatures falling into the upper 60s for the overnight. Looking ahead into our Halloween, we'll see partly sunshine. High temperatures warming into the upper 70s for the afternoon. We could also see wind gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Listen to Madison Academy football all season long.
And it is covered up by the Mustangs in the end zone. Touchdown Madison Academy. Touchdown Madison Academy.
On 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and we had a little kind of like the Alabama offense this year. They kind of stumble out of the blocks, but we're going to come back.
Right back in it. Right back in it.
We're going to knock it out of the park. So once again, we have a great show for you tonight. One of the things folks may have noticed in football nowadays is the reliance on data. They always say, oh, it's the data analytics. And Coach Monken actually for Army has a man on his staff who is the data analytics dude. And we're going to have him on here in a few minutes. We want to find out, what exactly he does. How does the coach use data? How does it help him make decisions? And guess what Barrett the Dirt Pig Crawford does for a living? You do data.
I do data. I don't do it exactly like the guy we're about to interview does. It's a little bit different. I'm more, operationally focused. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun interview because now in today's game, you see it in baseball, you see it in football, you see it in almost everywhere. Data is a big thing. You have the AWS services, you have everything. Everything's dictated by data and gives those people a thing. So it'll be a fun interview.
Well, it should be a fun interview, and we will see what he has to say. And later on in the show, after the top of the hour, we're going to have former Army great quarterback Rick Roper. We want to talk to him about what it's like to be an option quarterback and how hard that is versus being just a regular old quarterback. Because, folks, Bryson Daly is an unbelievably good option quarterback.
Unbelievably. And if I can, I want to just highlight a couple of Bryson Daly things, with
go right ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you. With Army's win over ECU the last 2 weekends ago, we had the bye weekend, but they won 45-28. Here's just a couple things. Bryson Daly got 6 touchdowns, 5 rushing, 1 in the air, the most in a game by an Army player since
Elmer Oliphant.
Oh, yeah. Well, you must have saw the notes. Since 1916, Elmer Oliphant. I mean, wow. Crushing records. Another thing, Bryson Daly broke the Army single season touchdown record, surpassed Lehman Hall in 1977 and Kelvin Hopkins Jr. in 2018. So, I mean, he's just doing phenomenal right now. The team's doing good. It was a great win over the Eastern Carolina Pirates, and it's going to be an even tougher win against Air Force.
Well, the old East Carolina Pilots, I don't know if people were tracking this, but the coach was fired after the game.
Nothing to do with us. It's
nothing,
just,
he's the second coach that's got fired after a loss to Army. And I do believe we have our first guest standing by, so we'll go ahead and bring him in. Colton, are you there?
Yes, I am. How's it going, guys?
Well, it's going
Good
great.
to hear
and
you.
Good to hear you, and we appreciate you joining us tonight. But I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself because I am not certain how to pronounce your last name, so I want to hear you say it.
Yeah, my name is Colton Schrepfer. I do analytics with Army football, and I also help out with some operations, some recruiting stuff. Pretty much whatever I'm told to do, I do it, I guess. But
Hey, you want to hear a little secret, Colton? That's what half of the
Yeah.
world does is we're told to do something and we do it, There's more
That's
people
right.
that are told tos than are tellers. So tell us a little
Yeah,
bit about
yeah.
how you got into the data analytics game, both in your educational background and also how you got there for Army.
Yeah, so I went to UW La Crosse in Wisconsin, and I got my sport management degree, business administration minor. Played baseball there, and I got a pretty cool opportunity with the Minnesota Golden Gophers right when I graduated, and I did more so recruiting and operations with them. But then some people at Minnesota knew some people at Army. I reached out to Clayton, the chief of staff, and he asked me if I wanted to do some analytics, and I'm glad that I said yes, because it's a pretty awesome role for the team.
Well, hey, and we've seen the picture of you on the sideline next to Jeff Monken holding what seems to be the largest binder on a football game.
Yeah.
It almost seems like you're going to class on a football. It's crazy. But my question to you is, with that binder and kind of you being near Jeff Monken during football games, what is your role in that statistician thing with the offense and defense? And I guess in terms of play calling too, do you have any influence on the play call, or how do you manage that?
Yeah. So first off, I just want to say, shout out Coach Monken. He's an awesome coach. He deserves to have the best staff in the country, and there's just a lot of great people at Army, a lot of great players, just a lot of great people in general. And I guess in terms of the book, it's a very big book, like you said, and it's a 64-page document, and basically all it is it's just I split it up first half and second half to make it a little easier for myself. But all it is it just aids in fourth down conversion decisions, end of game and late game strategies, 2-point conversion decisions, penalties, accepting and declining penalties. And it's a really cool tool. It's analytics, but it's also, there's a lot of good situational stuff that we get from the third party company, that they send some very good end of game strategies and end of half strategies, and it's a lot different with the new 2-minute warning that is new this year in college football. So it's pretty cool to learn, and I've learned a lot from Coach Monken and the staff from doing it.
Well, let me ask you I'll ask you a question. And by the way, my partner Barrett is actually a data analytics professional. That's what he does for a living.
So professional.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But as an example, and I'm just trying to pull one out and wonder how this would work. But let's say it's 3rd and 12, which is not a good situation. Do you go to Coach Monken and say, Coach, go for it, Coach, punt, or how does that work?
Yeah, it really depends on the situation, and obviously, like the charts are all dependent on the time left in the game and where we're at on the field. But I mean, to tell you 3rd and 12, I guess I don't really know. I'm not sure what the book would essentially read, but what I'm telling Coach is obviously like the number that he's looking for, that we need to get to potentially go for it in the situation.
Well, then you give me an example of one that instead of me trying to make up one, give me a good example of something recent in a game where the data analytics has came into play.
Sure. Yeah. So right when we start the game, obviously if the ball is kicked through the end zone, it's always like where we're trying to get to, or what the book is reading. Like I'll come up to coach and be like, hey, our numbers this, or our numbers this, and then if we get to a fourth and whatever the number I told them, then if we get to a coach, usually he listens to the book for the most part. Obviously it's up to him. He'll be the one to overrule and go against the book, but for the most part he does follow the book quite a bit.
Well, and my question too is the data. Where are you guys getting the data from? Or are you generating it in house, or kind of how does that operation work internally with the Army Athletics?
Yeah, so we get it from a third party. And they'll send us. It's a new book every week.
Oh wow!
So depending on who we're playing, and I'm not sure exactly how it works on their end, but I just know that the charts do change week to week. It's not like it's the same charts, for the entire year. So they're obviously updated each week.
Well, and a follow-up question to that too is, Bryson Daly and Army's offense has been the best probably in college football right now, some would argue. He's got to be throwing the stats off. It's got to be, if there's like a 4th and 10, give it to Bryson Daly, because he's going to run it down the field. I mean, is his ability to play football right now affecting any of your stats?
Honestly, I'm just following around the book, and whatever the book says, I'm telling coach. Obviously at the end of the day, the decision's up to coach and the rest of the staff. It's just another tool that's used to give him another option if he would like to do something different.
Well, hey Colton, I have a question on kind of how the mechanics of this work, because I know, when a play is going to be called, the coach has to make a decision. The offensive coordinator has to make a call. Then they have to get the play into the quarterback via the communications method now. So take us through that sequence. How does that actually work, and how do you fit into that?
Yeah. So I feel like that's probably one of the hardest parts of the job, is because coach obviously has a lot to do and manage during the game. He's obviously talking with the offense, talking with the defense, talking with the special teams. So, finding the right time to approach him and talk to him, or give him the information that the analytics book is telling him is probably one of the hardest things to do with being the analytics guy.
Well, what about during the week? Are you involved in the regular coaches meetings and they kind of like you ever seen the movie Moneyball?
Yeah.
Are you the Moneyball guy where Brad Pitt points at you and you tell him what to do?
He gets touchdowns.
Yeah, I guess. But each week we usually have 2 meetings. We'll have one Tuesday afternoon, and each week the analytics company will send us some scenarios that happened all in college football, and I usually pick a couple of them that I really want to show the staff, and we talk through them. There's a lot of good ones that we can show our players in terms of penalties that other teams do sometimes in college football. But yeah, we have 2 meetings each week. The last one is like the night before the game. Usually depends if we're on the road. It's the last meeting usually of the night at the hotel. But yeah, most of the coaches sit in on it. Usually our offensive coordinator, obviously Coach Munkin, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, and then usually our chief of staff, Clayton, he'll sit in on the meetings as well.
Well, hey, coming from somebody who's been at the last game against East Carolina, watching it on TV, it seems like Mikey Stadium starting to pack out. What is it like on that sideline? And for, with Army being undefeated going to an Air Force, I mean, what is it like for the football games now?
Yeah, it's an awesome atmosphere. It's something that you can't explain unless you come and experience Army game day. Obviously with the success of our season so far, I'm hoping, obviously we can keep guys healthy and we can keep things going, but it's a great atmosphere. I recommend, if you've never been to an Army football game, to make it out at least to one of them.
excuse me, I got another quick question for you, and I got to go back to the old example of the Charlie Brown cartoon, which I'm sure you've seen that. I know I grew up with it. And there was Lucy talking to Charlie Brown, and she was talking to him about baseball. And Charlie Brown said, "Lucy, you can tell your statistics to go shut up." And what I wonder is, in a season like this where we are being so dominant, does that make your job easier or harder, or is the coach just say, "Hey, we got Kanye Udo who is going to run it 62 yards every other time we hand it to him"? How does that impact the data analysis portion of the game? The fact that we're playing so good.
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously with the success of our team and how we've been playing, the analytics maybe doesn't have so much to do with it, but obviously it's a great tool to have, especially for some of the late game stuff and end of game stuff and scenarios that come up. But yeah, so far it's been all right.
Oh, that's great. Is there any I know, because you cover Army football, is the same thing going on with the other sports around West Point, or that you know of?
With, you're saying with analytics?
Yeah, with analytics. So there are other people in your position at the, like, for the baseball team, the lacrosse team, or basketball.
I'm not sure. That's a great question, but
if there's a spot, we'd love to apply.
Yeah, no kidding. It seems like that's kind of what sports are starting to get to, especially college and in the pros. Seems like the analytics is starting to be a big part of everyone's team and their program.
Well, hey, a question I would have for you, Colton, and by the way, I think what you're doing is fascinating. But one of the things that's really been great this year is the play of our special teams and the play calling of Coach Saturnio, running fake field goals, going for two. Are your analytics involved in the decisions with that coach also?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, maybe sometimes, but for the most part, that's up to the coaches and their play calls and what they decide. That's all up to those guys. But yeah, like you said, I mean, we've had a couple of special teams touchdowns. I know we had one against FAU early in the season, and not really sure if the analytics played into that role or played into that decision or not. But yeah, the coaches have been doing a great job of keeping the defense on their toes for sure.
Well, let me ask you this, Colton. What is the future for a data analytics person such as yourself? And this is your first real data analytics job, as I understand it. So, I mean, is this something where you move up the ladder and go maybe to bigger schools, or do you just, or do you become a coach, or how does that work?
Yeah, honestly, I'm very thankful to be here. I'm thankful for the opportunity that I've been given here. I'm not really looking so much into the future right now. I'm just very comfortable with where I am, and I feel like that's what a lot of people in our industry, I feel like sometimes you're kind of looking into the future, and I'm just happy to be here at West Point and be a part of the football team. We've got great people here, and that's a big part of any job is the people you work with. So
well, we hear a lot of great things. Looking at Air Force, being analytics, what's the biggest statistic that you see with Air Force, either good or bad, that could kind of hinder this game coming up?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the analytics are going to be. I mean, they're gonna change week to week depending on the opponent. But I mean, it's pretty similar and to most weeks. And I would say, I mean, obviously, with it being an academy game, it's going to be a good game no matter what. These games are always very competitive, and it'll be a good one on Saturday.
Well, a follow-up question to that, Colton, like just from my pea-sized brain looking at the stats on Air Force, they're averaging, about 2.5 yards per rush. The quarterback hadn't done much. Sure. We've got, according to ESPN, we have a 94.8 win predictor. I mean, do you actually go to the coaches and say, Coach, hey, guess the stats say this quarterback is not that good, and we can pressure him and we can, get his passes picked off, or is that not a part of the equation?
I wouldn't say necessarily. Maybe once in a while that does play into it a little bit, but I mean, the coaches have the coaches obviously have their game plan, and they're going to decide what they want to do on Saturday.
Well, how do you like West Point? How do you like living up there?
I love it. I live with I got 4 other roommates. 2 of them work with football. One of them's the assistant women's basketball coach. One of them coaches track and field. So we live in an apartment just outside of West Point in Highland Falls, and my roommates are awesome. I'm having a great time out here. I've never lived on the East Coast or anything, so it's pretty awesome being out here.
The Rockbound
Highland home.
The Rockbound Highland home, and maybe you can go to Westies when it opens up. That's going to make Highland, that's going to help a lot out there. Well, hey,
yep.
I think we're going to go ahead and take our break for now, and we'll be a quick one.
Sounds good.
Hey, Colton, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. Can't wait to see you on the sideline.
Yeah, we'll be looking for you in that book and give Coach some good decisions.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Yep, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Hey, we expect you to tell him to go for every 4th down. Well, he's going to do that anyway.
All right.
All right, Colton, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Okay, Bailey, let's go ahead and get a quick break in, and then we'll come right back and do a quick segment and close it out at the top of the hour.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Our customers want best-in-class solutions. That's why we've recently added many new vendors like Zebra barcode printers. Our next level team has added premier automation solutions. We're not here to sell you just one product, and we love helping you find the right solution to your specific needs. That's what doing the right thing is all about, and that's why our customers have come back for over 50 years.
Howdy, folks. Bob Baumhauer here. Whether you're planning a tailgate party at the game, cheering for your favorite teams at home, or at your local Baumhauers with your family and friends, we're here to make your football party legendary with our party-ready tray selections. From our always fresh buttermilk fried chicken tenders to the homemade Nana's chicken salad, and of course, our fresh, never frozen, award-winning buffalo-style chicken wings. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Hey, Huntsville. Looking for action-packed events? The Huntsville Sports Commission is your hub for all things sports. From youth events to national tournaments, we've got events that thrill and inspire. Whether you're an athlete, a fan, or a volunteer, there's something for everyone. Cheer on your favorite teams, witness amazing talent, and be a part of the excitement. Check out our event calendar and get involved at huntsvillesports.com. That's huntsvillesports.com. Be there, Huntsville.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Isolated showers will be a possibility heading into this Wednesday night. Majority of us going to continue to be staying dry, though. Expect to sit under a partly to mostly cloudy sky. Low temperatures falling into the upper 60s for the overnight. Looking ahead into our Halloween, we'll see partly sunshine. High temperatures warming into the upper 70s for the afternoon. We could also see wind gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford for the second half of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. Before we get going, I want to remind everyone about our great sponsor, Nick's Ristorante, which, as I say, is a driver and a pitching wedge south of the intersection of Bailey Cove and Weatherly. Nick's every Saturday now has got a little deal going on for football games starting at 2 o'clock. Where the chef makes a great creation. Last week it was Parmesan garlic wings, which were awesome. It's very inexpensive. Go down there and watch the games, and you'll have a good time, meet some good folks. Speaking of Nick's, I've got a $20 gift certificate to Nick's if you can answer or even attempt to get close to this trivia question.
Cue the Jeopardy music.
Yeah, yeah, really. The Air Force Academy was started in 1954 by President Dwight Eisenhower. They didn't have a uniform design, and Ike went to one of his friends and said, design me a uniform. And they did, and that's the parade uniform they wear to this day. If you have any idea who did that design, famous person.
In the movie business.
In the movie business. That's a good hint, Barrett. Give us a call in the epic movie business. And Epic, my huge major productions, 256. Why am I drawing a blank?
Oh man, I had it written down too.
256-576-4977. Well, I'm all over it today. Give us a call and we'll give you an answer to the trivia question. And one thing, we had Colton on just a minute ago, and we were talking about this during the break. That sounds like, well, you know, what does he really do? Hey, think about this, Barrett. You get 64-page book of data the week of the game. And not only do you have to know it, you have to be intimately familiar with it. You have to be able, when the coach turns to you and says, it's 3rd and 9, we're on the 24-yard line, what do we do? You can't go thumbing through that book. You got to knock it out.
You got to know. And I mean, there's scenarios for everything. There's two, you know, and what is exactly like Colton said, the 2 minute, you know, the 2 minute warning, the 2 minute timeout at the end of that plays a factor in it. So 60 pages, you got to thumb through it. It's a big thing. The one thing that I thought was really good, you know, and I'm looking at the big, what's the so what for Air Force statistics for the Army Air Force game. And the one that scares me is the passing yards allowed. Army right now is not doing too well on that, but Air Force is known to pass the ball. So I hope that statistic will just go down and we'll just stop them. But that's my only concern going into this game right now. But you look at every other statistic and every other analytical thing about Army football, we're dominant. And if Steve is watching and he's looking, I got your sheet, and our column's almost green. We're outranking the Air Force in almost every category, which is great.
Well, there's a lot that scares me about this game. First of all, it's a Service Academy rivalry. And secondly, last year, it was kind of reversed. Yep. Army went into Mile High Stadium on losing record, messing up horribly. Air Force was top 25, ranked in the leaders and everything in the country. And we went in there and opened up a can on them. And this year it's just the opposite. We're in the top 25. We're leading. I'll give the categories in a little bit about how many things we're leading in. And I hope it doesn't happen in reverse.
I hope it doesn't. And it's like you said too, it's an academy game. So you can kind of just throw those statistics out because it's going to be a close one. It's going to be a dogfight and it's going to be exciting. And I'm happy that it's back at Mikey Stadium. It's, you know, a nice fall area there over there in the banks of the Hudson, and it's just going to be a great game.
Okay, and folks, speaking of a great game, if you're a baseball fan, just to give you a little update, at the bottom of the third inning, the New York Yankees lead the Dodgers 5-0. The home run bats have came alive for them tonight, and it looks like this series may be going back to Los Angeles. And again, we will be joined in progress with that game on the station right after we finish. And we got a trivia question.
Somebody knows it.
Go ahead, Mike. What's the answer? Mike, are you there?
Yeah.
Well, give me the answer.
Oh, it's Cecil something.
Well, I tell you what, I said all you got to do is take a crack at it, and it's not Cecil like Beanie and Cecil, the cartoon from days of yore. It's Cecil B. DeMille, who was the costume.
Oh, he's pretty close, though.
He's pretty close. close enough. I'll give it to you. And Cecil B. DeMille designed the costumes for the 10 Commandments, for many, many other movies like that. So thanks for trying at least, Mike. Okay.
Yep. Mike Williams here, signing off. Bye.
Okay. See you, Mike. And I got that name down. So when he goes down to Nick's, he'll have a $20 gift certificate. And hey, at least he took a crack at it. And Barrett, let's talk a little bit about some of the stats on the green sheet. And folks, again, Army, Air Force is, I've talked to a lot of people who've played in that game, and you would say, oh gosh, Army, Navy, that's the biggest rivalry we have going. But the most hated rivalry is between the Air Force Academy and West Point. If you ever noticed after the game that Coach Calhoun, who is an Air Force Academy grad, he and Monken don't even shake hands after.
Yeah, it gets kind of tense, and this is the road to the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. Air Force will not get it this year because they lost to Navy, but Army, to maintain it and to win it, this is a must-win game, and it's a must-win for, and I dare I say it, it's a must-win for college football playoff, stuff. It's
WCZN.
crazy. But no, looking at some of the stats, Steve, the human Ouija board sheet of statistics, Army's kind of dominating Air Force. Number one team in rushing offense. We average about 359 rushing yards per game. Number one team in passing efficiency, which is pretty crazy. We don't have the biggest passing yards, but passing efficiency, when Bryson Daly goes back, he's letting them launch, and we're getting those short passes down the field.
When he throws one, he makes it count.
Now, and we started seeing a little bit against Eastern Carolina, Bryson Daly and Casey Reynolds kind of doing these shorter passes instead of going for bombs. So I'm liking that statistic as well. And then also we're number one in red zone defense. The defense is really stepping it up. And when, we do let some passes get a bias, but we're in the red zone, the other team's rushing the ball, you can count on the Army defense to stop them.
And that is true. One of the things I think we've really done well this year is we've kind of been known for our goal line stands, where we're stopping them every time. So now we have our other guest standing by. Excuse me. And that is Mr. Rick Roper, the MVP of the team in 1993, the MVP of the 1992 Army-Navy game, a legend of Army football. Rick Roper, how are you doing?
Hey, Bill. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. That sounds great. If you could mention that to my kids, that'd be awesome.
Well, put them in front of the TV or let them watch this broadcast later on.
They better be in bed.
Well, Rick, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on is because, you were a very good Army football quarterback.
Very good.
And how hard is it to be a quarterback in the type of offense we run versus just being a pro-style drop-back, sling it around quarterback?
I think it's tough. I think you get hit every play, and I really don't have any empathy for guys at Texas that pull an abdomen, or, guys that sprain an ankle. You might run the balls, 40, 50 times a game, and you get hit just about every time. So that's probably what makes it unique, and a unique style of offense to run, for sure.
Well, and being the quarterback for the Army offense, it's a really big deal. When you were there, being the MVP of the Army-Navy game and then being the MVP overall, how did you command that Army offense on the field?
Hey, we had good kickers. Kurt Heiss, Pat Malcolm, and those guys. We probably wouldn't be having this interview right now if they didn't hit some long field goals. But I think being a successful QB at Army, there's been a lot of them. I really think three things. I think first of all, toughness. Again, going back to just getting hit every play, it's unique. So you get hit a lot. You got to be decisive. You got to make quick decisions. You can't hesitate. You got to figure it out. You got to read it. You got to go. And there's a lot of moving pieces. The ball changes hands multiple times on every play. So the risk of a turnover, the risk of somebody knocking it loose. You really just got to be decisive, and you got to be able to hang on to it, be tough. And then lastly, just being multi-talented. If you can run and throw, you can really crack the code. If you're just a running style quarterback, then they're going to put 11 in the box and it's over. But if you can throw it over the head every now and again and then stick them and burn them, well then they're in a bind. And I don't know that there's a good answer on defense for that. And that's really what I think Bryson Daly's done well is when he's got an incredibly high completion percentage. When he throws them, he sticks them, right? And that opens everything else up.
Well, when you're the quarterback and you're doing the option offense, I know you said quick decisions. What sort of time are you talking about? Do you have a half a second to say, I'm either going to pitch it or run it or throw it, or how does that work? Tell us a little insight on that.
Yeah, well, if you're running triple, the first thing is you're going to mesh with a fullback, and that's about half a second to a second. And, it's a really hard move to make because there's a lot of big bodies right there, 300-pound linemen colliding, and you're trying to figure out which way the defender's going to go. And sometimes you pull it out and you get surprised, and you made the wrong read. And then you got about another second or two before you pitch it off the end. Or if you get out to the perimeter, you got 4 or 5 seconds and you can either run it or pitch it. And that's all going full speed, as well. We had pretty good fullbacks back in our day. So I predetermined a lot of reads, to be honest with you. If it was 3rd and 2, it was going to be a give no matter what they did.
Oh, wow. And so looking at the Army Air Force game, when you were the quarterback of the Army team, how big of an impact was the Army Air Force game when you were there? I mean, the rivalry's been around since 1959, but and I imagine every year it seems to mean a little bit more. But when you were there, just kind of what did that mean to you?
You know what? Air Force is huge. Army Navy gets all the press, but back when we played, Air Force was a team to beat. Navy was struggling. We were a pretty solid team. We were better than our record shows, but they were a Fisher DeBerry coached team, and they were the ones going to the bowl games. So in their tennis shoes, I remember Pat Work on his Chuck Taylor high top tennis shoes. It said beat Air Force. Didn't say anything about beat Navy. It said beat Air Force because that's who we wanted to get after. When we played them both years, I thought we were a better team, but, we flat out got outplayed when we were there. So we came up a little bit short. You've heard it before. Service Academy rivalries, they usually boil down to who makes the least amount of mistakes because, you recruit the same kids, you run the same system, and we just made more mistakes than they did.
Hey, Rick, I have a question. I heard this from a person you may have heard of before, a guy named Joe Ross, who's a good friend of both of ours. Joe has often told me that the rivalry and the hatred on the field between the air, as Joe would say, Army Navy's over, we shake hands, we're off, we're going to serve together. But when Air Force is on the field, there's a intense dislike of the players with each other, and also the coaches don't get along so well. Shed a little light on that if you can.
Well, hey, you don't need it from me. You can watch any of Jeff Monken's press conferences, and I think you'll get a good feel for what he thinks of Troy Calhoun out in Colorado. But I would say that that's true. Navy seemed to be a little bit more cordial, but with Air Force, it was always something personal, and at least that's the way it seemed when we were shaking hands afterwards. I think in the end they were all fighting hard for their team, so I got mad respect for them, love them to death. But on Saturday between the lines, it's a little bit different.
Well, coming up this Saturday, if you were at the game and you had a chance to talk to the offense and the Army team in general, what advice would you give them going into this Army Air Force game, being an undefeated team and having such a great streak? What advice would you give them?
I would say, don't believe your press clippings, and I would tell that to anybody any day they go to work, or your record and everything. That's all great, but that all goes out the window. Is with every game, but especially in a service academy rivalry game. The records, they really don't mean a whole lot. I do think we got an advantage this year. We're playing good football. I think we're tough, and they're not having a great year. That sounds a lot like 1992 Army Navy, right? We found ourselves behind 17 points in the first half. So.
Well, and what happened?
We won by a point. We had a good kicker.
Hey, we have a good kicker now too, but we haven't had enough field goal attempts this year to even have him qualify in the national statistics that they evaluate kickers on. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We hadn't had many punts either. That's a good thing. Have had only one turnover. We lead the country. There's just so many things that have never happened with Army football. And speaking of things that have never happened with Army football, now for the second time we find ourselves in a conference. And there is a distinct possibility that we could have 2 Army-Navy games this year. Do you think that that's a good thing if that happens, or is that going to devalue the actual Army-Navy game at all?
My personal opinion is to have one game. I think it makes it more special. But hey, it's hard to turn down playing in a championship game against your arch rival that's been there for over 100 years. So get to play them twice. Why not? We'll just beat them twice.
Yeah, just beat them twice. When you were the quarterback for Army in 1992 and 93, you led Army to a victory. Where were those games played at? Historically, these academy games will be played at somewhere significant. Army Navy's generally at Philadelphia, where the Eagles play, or they'll take it over to Washington. Last year, the Army Air Force game was at Mile High Stadium, and the years before that, it was in Dallas where the Rangers play baseball. But tell us about those Army Navy games in 92 and 93.
Yeah, 92, it was pouring down rain. It was freezing cold, and it was in the old Veteran Stadium, it's now Lincoln Financial Field. But it's where the Eagles played. Army Navy had played there for years before it moved from the historic site at another location in Philly. So we played in Philadelphia in 92, and in 93 we played in the Meadowlands there in New Jersey, where the Giants play.
Well, Rick, it's about we really appreciate your time, and I'm going to ask you a non-football question. But how has having been an Army football player, in particular the quarterback, how has that impacted your life post-military and post-West Point?
Shoot, that's why I got a job right now, Phil. I tell you, honestly, it's about the relationships and people you meet. And, the day I left the Army about 10 years ago, I got a call from, one of my best friends, Joe Ross, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come work with me and Paul?" And, my first question is like, "Well, shoot, can you pay me? What are we talking about?" I've got kids. And, that was 10 years ago. So my most favorite part about working at higher echelon is, Joe's recruited about half the Army football team. We've got linemen, receivers, DBs, linebackers. We got a backfield. I tell you what, if somebody has a corporate challenge, in Huntsville, I think we'd put a hell of a flag football team.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go against you guys.
Hey, and I've done a lot with Joe, and Joe's been impactful on our family, as you know. And that's good to hear. And we really do appreciate your time being with us tonight. And before we let you go, Army has a 94.8% chance to win this game. Give us a score prediction.
I'd probably make it 95%, something like that, round up.
Oh,
right?
no.
Prediction?
Yeah.
28-10.
All right, yeah.
28-10
Don't quote
sounds
me,
good.
Well, 28-10, as long as it's a win.
long as it's a win. Well, hey, I'll take 28-10. And we appreciate your time. And Bailey, I think it's about time for us to take a break. So we'll go ahead and get out of here. And Rick, enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you.
Hope to bump into you again here down in Hunts Vegas one of these days.
All right, we'll do. Beat Air Force.
Beat them.
Air Force. Beat the Zoomies. Okay, Bailey, let's take a break and we'll get right back after it.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
AL cert number 21014.
As the calendar turns to Halloween, make sure you get more treats than tricks. Thomas from Talent Heating and Air is with us. Don't let those ghosts and goblins get you on Halloween.
Yeah, we're not too worried about the ghosts and goblins this Halloween. We'll come out, we'll do a free second opinion like we always do. We're offering $49 tune-ups to make sure that you're ready for the fall and the coming winter. And then we're also offering free heat exchanger checks. We'll come out, we'll check your heat exchanger, make sure you don't have any leaks and don't have to worry about carbon monoxide getting in your house.
And Talent Heating and Air won't ghost you on this Halloween.
If you call us, we'll definitely get to you right then, or we'll get right back with you. We pride ourselves in same-day service as much as possible.
Let the people know how to get you.
That's 256-503-4490, or if you want to hit us up on our website, that's talenthvac.com.
The Talent Heating and Air give you plenty of treats this Halloween.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away, but my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're here. We're the ones who take your call.
And get what you deserve.
You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And this is the most important part. We'll treat you like family, because that's exactly what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Isolated showers will be a possibility heading into this Wednesday night. Majority of us going to continue to be staying dry, though. Expect to sit under a partly to mostly cloudy sky. Low temperatures falling into the upper 60s for the overnight. Looking ahead into our Halloween, we'll see partly sunshine. High temperatures warming into the upper 70s for the afternoon. We could also see wind gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Listen to Buckhorn High School football all season long.
Landrum down near the goal line, and he's in for the Bucks touchdown.
On 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and this is the final segment of our show tonight. Before we get too deeply involved in that, I just want to mention that the interest rates have lowered. And if you need to do anything with your house, with a mortgage, with a new house, if you want to cash your equity in and do something really nice, like buy a boat or a car or buy your wife a nice ring, go see Brian Hamaker and the team at North Alabama Mortgage. You can reach them at northalabamamortgage.com, and everything in your mortgage needs starts there. And they are great people. Barrett and I have both done business with them, and we strongly recommend them. Good folks. So, Barrett, we sit here in this season in a place, we've never been before. We have never been undefeated in how long? I don't know. And we're going into the Air Force game, which is a huge game. We're hugely favored to win. Every stat that is measurable, we're leading. But this is also one of those games which could be a trap game, and it worries me a little bit. What about you?
It worries me too, and it's what you said at the beginning of the show. Last year, the roles were reversed. Air Force was undefeated and ranked, and Army was coming off a losing streak, and we crushed them. Now this year, Army's ranked, exactly what you said. It could be a trap, but it's a significant game. Air Force is not showing strong promise right now. They're on a 6-game losing streak. Their only win was at the start of the game against Merrimack College,
which is an FCS school.
By
the way, for those who don't know what that is, FCS is a little one. FBS is a big one.
This is the big ones. And Air Force is also last in the Mountain West Conference. Boise State, who is the leader of the group of 5, is number 1. So Air Force is not showing promising signs. Their quarterback, John Busha, he's been in and out of starting positions. He started the last game. He's got a low pass percentage. He doesn't really rush the ball that much. And I think it's going to be a very doable game for Army to win and dominate and do Army football, but it's also an academy game. And speaking of the academy game, it's an historic game. I mean, it's for the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. The Commander-in-Chief trophy right now, Air Force leads the wins with 21 wins. Navy's got 16, Army's got 10, and 5 of those have been shared. So, I mean, this means a lot. It's a huge game.
Yeah, no, you mentioned Air Force's quarterback, Busha. For those, I'll date myself again. If you ever go back and look at the old mystery date game, the person you did not want to get a date with was Poindexter, and Busha looks just like Poindexter.
He does with the glasses.
He looks like Poindexter. But what about the rest of the year, Barrett? How's our schedule stacking up?
So we've officially, and we every radio show we say it, we're looking at, Rice, Temple, Tulsa, UAB, and ECU. Those are winnable games, and we've dominated them. Now we've hit the second half of our season where the schedule gets a little bit tougher. We go and we play Air Force at Mikey Stadium. Then we go to North Texas at their field and play them. We have Notre Dame, which Notre Dame put a pouncing beat on Navy. Then UTSA, who's not shown a lot of life, but they are, pretty decent. And then it's that championship game, and then Navy. So it's a tougher schedule for the second half.
What is a pouncing defeat?
I meant to say they were a dominant defeat over Navy.
like a lion pouncing on them or something. So the bottom line is we're now at the meat of our schedule where it really gets hard. We had an easy schedule the first of the year, but the thing is we beat them like we were supposed to. That's a good thing. And now we got the roads are going to get a little bit rougher, but as they say, when the going gets tough, the tough get going.
And I know the teams we played, they were kind of, technically not the greatest teams. They were kind of, not having great season, but we dominated them. I mean, looking at the betting lines, we were average 16 points over those betting lines. I mean, we were physically dominating these teams, controlling the time of possession, running the ball down their face and passing it. And so I think looking at Air Force, North Texas, and UTSA, those are going to be 3 wins right there. Notre Dame it's a question mark, but I think we can pull it off just watching how they played against Navy. And then Navy, we're gonna just beat Navy to death.
Okay, the enemy of the sports talk show is the clock. Give me a prediction, Barrett, for Air Force Navy.
I think it's going to be somewhat close because it's a rivalry game. I think 5 touchdowns from Army and 3 from Air Force. I think it's going to be 35-21.
Oh, well, I always say go big or go home, and I'm going to say we're going to go big again, 52-13. Loving every minute of it. So, folks, we're going to get out of here in a minute. In studio tonight, we had my good friend Dave Johnson sitting over here in the silent mode. Glad to have you with us tonight. Remember, support our great sponsors, North Alabama Mortgage, Higher Echelon, and also Nick's Restaurante. Come down there Saturday about 3. I'll say hi to you. And we're looking forward to a great weekend. This is going to be a big one. And folks, remember this, no matter where you are and no matter what you're doing, there's a soldier somewhere, somehow, Air Force, Marine, that's standing a watch so you can enjoy the life you live in this great country of ours. Go Army.
Beat Air Force.
Beat Air Force, beat Navy. Bailey, thanks a lot tonight. We're going to get out of here and go watch an old Beanie and Cecil cartoon and see if you can remember what that is. Dating myself. So we're gone, folks. Bye. Crawdad out.